With draft season coming up, I am starting to get really excited for what's about to happen, right? Because here's the thing, y'all know how I feel about the number one pick, but no matter what happens at the number one pick, whoever it is could end up being a franchise saving, moving, changing type of player. And let me tell you, I'm really excited for draft night, just to say the least. Okay, so now that we got all that out of the way, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Titans Rundown. I am your host, Micah McCamey, and since I can't do a mock draft this week because I don't want to do that 2 weeks in a row, and I'm saving my last mock draft for like the finale of the whole draft saga, basically locking in all my picks about what I would want personally. So so I can't really speak on who I want. I mean, well, there's one that I obviously am going to say, and I will say it at the end of this episode. But man, so these are my 5 biggest draft needs for the Titans. Okay, and now I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking like, dude, don't we have a lot of needs? And I'm thinking, yes, we do have a lot of needs, but there are just a couple specific ones that are very obviously huge needs for this team. So before we get into all of the top 5 biggest needs that the Tennessee Titans have, I want to talk about something that I've seen popping up recently. So there's this quarterback that y'all may have heard of. He is a Louisville quarterback, right? Had a pretty solid season this year, and overall was a solid college quarterback. But this certain someone is getting way too much draft hype, and I mean way too much. I do not get it at all. He's old. He's just kind of a decent quarterback, not like amazing or anything. Like, I don't understand what people's big thing with this guy is, apart from they want to be creative. So, his name is Tyler Show, I think is how you pronounce it. Shao. I'm not too sure how to pronounce it, but he's the quarterback for Louisville. He started this last year, and again, like I said, played pretty solid. But I don't think he played good enough. Like, you have to have, to me at least, you have to have like a Cam Ward season in your last year of college if you're going to play for 1 year and end up becoming a big time draft prospect. So here's my thing. Message to Titans fans. Do not buy the hype, okay? Because, like, we take a look at this. Because some people might think, oh, Tyler Shaw, he could be available in the second or third round. And, if we can just wait until then, we can just go draft like another position of need. And I won't say which ones, but you know which ones are probably coming up. And then, Titans fans get all these ideas about like, oh, Tyler Shaw being the starting quarterback for this team. And then we go get a couple of guys out of the draft, or we get somebody with the first pick or trade down with the Giants or the Saints and get a bunch of draft picks. Like, look, I love the optimism. I really love the optimism toward this idea. But here's the thing, okay? There aren't that many people that actually believe in Tyler Shaw. I'm just saying that right now. You want to know why they're saying that Tyler Shaw or however you pronounce his last name is going to be an amazing quarterback? Because there are not that many headlines to create whenever you're a little over a week away from the NFL draft. That's just the truth. Like, here's the thing. I'm not going to, be like, this guy and this gal, they're terrible for that. But like, because like I do it myself, okay? I'll try and make up something insane probably the day before the draft just to create some type of draft hype. But anywho, yeah, no, don't buy this hype, okay? He's not a franchise quarterback. Now, could I see him going in the third to like some super amazing offensive mind, learning for a year or two, like going to the Rams, learning a year or two under Matthew Stafford, and then he takes over the reins at quarterback once Stafford's gone and he lights it up 100%. I could definitely see that. But I am not expecting it, and I would especially not expect him going to Tennessee and doing that. Like, again, there are some quarterbacks that if you draft them into a situation like this, they'll be terrible. Like, there are some quarterbacks that will thrive in this situation and help the team get back to the top. Y'all probably know who that is, and I'll mention it at the end of the episode. But Again, I just don't think he's one of those guys. Could be a good quarterback. Don't think he's going to be what everyone is hyping him, what people are starting to hype him up to be. So, all in all, don't buy the hype. It's just another media storyline. Like with Will Levis, right, guys? Anywho, we're moving on to the actual list itself. My top 5 biggest needs for the Tennessee Titans in the 2025 NFL Draft. Starting out with number 5, we have linebacker. Okay, this one should be obvious, right? Okay, our current linebacker core, and these are just 4 names. There are other people in it that I don't even think I need to mention. But the 4 names that stand out the most are Cody Barton, Cedric Gray, James Williams, and Otis Reese. Okay, so Cody Barton, solid, proven, cool. No problems with that. Doesn't need to be replaced. Maybe as linebacker 1, but he will not lose his starting job in this draft, right? Cedric Gray, James Williams, and Otis Reese, on the other hand, okay. I do want to say this, though. I still think that Cedric Gray could end up being really, really solid. And maybe he's developed over the offseason and the coaching staff has taken note of that. And, like, they're really interested in trying to play him. But here's the thing. James Williams, really raw talent. Honestly, I think you should have moved him to edge last year. And then Otis Reese, look, I love the guy, but I don't think he's going to be any more than a depth piece for the rest of his career. Cedric Gray, I think that he has some upside to be really solid. That's the only reason I have them down at number 5. It's that I think Cedric Gray has upside. Cody Barton is already really good. And the reality is, okay, if you have a good enough defensive system, you can put a lot of linebackers in there, and they'll end up being just fine. The most replaceable position in all of football, quite frankly. Everybody likes to talk about, running back this, which, Saquon shut them up last year, like running back this, and let me think of a random position. Nose tackle that. No, it's definitely linebacker. Again, okay, Patrick Queen leaves the Ravens defense. Okay, it dropped off a little bit, but it did not drop off as much as people were expecting it to. And also, that drop off also probably had something to do with the fact that, I don't know, Micah McDonald left. Like, that should be very obvious. Or heck, David Long Jr. leaving the Titans. Did the defense go down considerably from where it was in 2021 to 2022? No, it did not. Because linebacker is not that important of a position. As long as you have somebody that can run the defensive scheme well, then you are okay. Okay? There's no need to get too invested. That's why you don't see linebackers go round 1 hardly anymore. Like, you'll always see them go like in the mid rounds, 3rd, 4th. If they're really special, you'll see them go in the 2nd. But like just how it seems, at least. Okay, so, again, linebacker is a really big need, but it's not an important position, okay? And again, Cedric Gray could develop into something. James Williams, okay, maybe like 2 or 3 years from now, I could see him being half decent. But again, I just don't see that much inspiration in this linebacker core. I'm not just like heck, even with Cody Barton, I'm not just like, oh my gosh, it's Cody Barton. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, he's a pretty solid little linebacker. Like, no, he's not. He's not like elite or anything. And I'm not expecting elite out of my linebackers. But if I can get something solid, of course I'm going to take that. So yeah, that's why I have linebacker at number 4 or number 5 on this list. Okay, moving on to number 4, I have offensive guard. Or specifically right guard. Okay, left guard is set for the next decade, potentially, as long as we're willing to pay up on him. I was about to say Cedric Gray. Peter Skronsky is going to be the starting left guard for this football team for years to come. I can just feel that in my body, right? I am 100% expecting Skronsky to be left guard. But right guard, on the other hand, has a couple of interesting things. So, this year's right guard, the current people on this are Kevin Zeitler. I think I can stop right there. That's all I need to say. Because, look, okay, no, I'm not saying that about, like, oh, Kevin Zeitler's terrible. No, he's actually really good. One of the better offensive guards in the NFL. But the depth behind him is absolutely disastrous. You have no idea. Like, look, okay, if you want me to prove my point, I put one name on here, and you'll see immediately why I have problems with this position. The second string right guard for our team, according to ESPN, is Blake Hance. that's a practice squad body. Like, that's a dude that you hear and you're just like, oh yeah, that dude probably goes around on practice squads, training camp name, is a part of the drills, like that type of stuff. That is not a dude that you see and you're just like, oh yeah, he's a solid backup. Like, like with left guard, even with Andrew Rupsich, you're just like, okay, he can hold his own at left guard for if he needs to go in for like a half or something or just one game. Like, he can do that. But Blake Hance, no, he would play absolutely terrible if he went in. I'll tell you that right now. So Kevin Zeitler is the only right guard here. And quite frankly, he's up there in age and we signed him to a 1-year contract. So what do? We draft one. We draft a developmental one, though, like a project right guard, if you will. Somebody that has really high upside, but needs a really good player or a really good coach to develop him, and then a good right guard veteran to help guide him through. And we have both of those things. We have Bill Callahan, one of the best offensive line coaches of all time, and we have Kevin Zeitler, very solid veteran that is at least stable. So we have those two things. Taking those two things into consideration, it's really smart in this situation to draft a right guard. And quite frankly, we need some youth on this offensive line. Like, look, here's the thing. Right guard, very solid. Tackles are pretty decent. But here's the thing, right? Okay, right guard is not going to get any younger, okay? And we need a right guard badly in, like, the mid-rounds, right? Like, 4th round, I think, would probably be somewhere about in there. Because, like, here's the thing, okay? What I want the Titans to do, I'm not going to say because I still have a mock draft to record on that. Okay, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to spoil that. So, again, right guard, terribly bad need, at least for the future. Like, right now, for this year, Kevin Zeitler is going to be pretty solid. I have no doubt about that. But he's not going to be here forever. And even if we do extend him after this year, it's not like he's going to be some ageless wonder or anything. And again, even if he is, we got to have a young guy ready to step in and develop whenever he's fully developed and just be ready to dominate, right? Okay, that's my number 4. Now we go down to number 3. This is whenever, like, the real positions of need start to get exposed, right? Like, the past 2, okay, there's at least a solid starter. Okay, for these next 3, there is not a solid starter. Everybody is either bad or just absolutely. It ranges from mediocre at best to absolutely disastrous at worst. Okay, so number 3, I'm going to start out with wide receiver 2. Okay, the current wide receiver 2s that we have are Treylon Burks. Y'all know the Titans fans' opinion on Treylon Burks, the average Titans fan, including myself. We have, Tay Martin, Bryce Oliver. Okay, these guys are really nice stories, like undrafted free agents that found their way onto the Titans roster and are probably going to be depth pieces for us for goodness knows how long. Like, again, their ceiling, these two guys' ceilings is NWI. Loved by the fan base, solid depth piece, but just really just isn't like a solid, like, wide receiver 1. Like, don't get me wrong, I love that NWI scored touchdowns, but he was not going to be a wide receiver 1 or 2. He was always going to be like a low-end 3, high-end 4. Like, that's what those guys' ceiling is. Treylon Burks' ceiling is a wide receiver 4, right? A really good wide receiver 4, I would say, but his ceiling is a wide receiver 4 who will sometimes go in and run a deep route. Like, that's what it is at this point. Golly, John Robinson was so bad at drafting. So terrible. At least those last 3 years. First 3 years he was fine, but those last 3 years, geez, like Treylon Burks, Isaiah Wilson, Caleb Farley. Are you kidding me? Golly, that was one of the worst stretches that any team has had in the first round. But I'm getting caught off guard, caught off track. Let's get back onto the actual subject of this. So again, Italy cannot do it all by his own, right? Like, he needs another receiver to at least take a little bit of attention off him. Not a lot, just a little bit. That's all. As long as he just gets a little bit of attention off of him, he can go crazy or whatever, right? But that's not going to happen unless we go get a wide receiver 2. Again, wide receiver 1, okay, Calvin Ridley, I'm completely comfortable with that. Wide receiver 3, Van Jefferson, I'm good with that. Wide receiver 4 being one of these 3 guys, I'm chill with that. Okay, maybe I prefer Bryce Oliver and Treylon Burks over Tay Martin. But I do seriously believe that every other wide receiver position is filled. We just need a wide receiver 2, and the wide receiver core is actually pretty solid. I actually like all 5 of these included. I think that they end up being pretty stinking good rooms whenever you add a starter to them, a starting caliber player to them. For one, it's a little bit more than that, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Okay, so again, but we've also got to take a look at this. Okay, 2 undrafted free agents and Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks is going to be injury prone the rest of his career. I don't know how else to put it, okay? He doesn't put himself in enough shape or decent enough shape to stay healthy throughout the season, right? So, can't really say that. Not confident in the fact that he is going to be the consistent wide receiver 4. Bryce Oliver, I could see that. I could see him being a consistent wide receiver 4, so that's nice. But again, these guys as wide receiver 2 is inexcusable, quite frankly. These guys being a wide receiver 2 is absolutely just terrible for this football team. Again, I would be really happy if we got somebody in the second round or traded up into the third to go get somebody because we need someone that is just going to at least assist in Cam Ward's development alongside Calvin Ridley and Chig. I know that's a random name, but still. Again, I think the O-line this year to help ease the next quarterback into the offense is there. It's just that he needs some decent receivers. I think he has a good tight end, but he just needs one more receiver, and I think that he will be ready to play well come this next season. But anywho, yeah, wide receiver 2, big need. Okay, now we move on to number 2. Okay, this was a hard choice between these 2 positions because both of them are just so bad. But here's the thing, okay? One is more important than the other, very obviously. So that's why at number 2, I'm going with edge. And then you know what number 1 is at this point. It's quarterback, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Okay, our current defensive line, at least that edge, consists of Arden Key, Draymond Jones, and the other notable name is Lorenzo Carter. Yeah, no, none of those guys are starting caliber, right? Okay, these guys are considered depth pieces on most teams, solid guys that will come off the sidelines. Okay, I almost said bench, but this is not basketball. They'll come off of the sidelines and rotate in, sometimes get a spark play that gets the team going. Arden Key's the perfect example of this. Okay, not really the best starter, not polished, but he'll come in, he'll give all of his effort, and he'll try and do everything that he can to get to the quarterback. Then he may get a big sack every now and again that changes the momentum of a game. He's not meant to be a starter, a full-time starter at the very least. Okay, Draymond Jones, I could see that dude being pretty decent, but the problem is that he hasn't been anything but a depth piece for most of his career. Again, I could 100% see him just coming in and making and just having a big breakout year this year at edge. But I'm not expecting it, and I'm not going to say, well, yeah, this is going to happen. Right? He's not guaranteed. And then Lorenzo Carter is just another depth piece. Everybody else, Jalen Wright, love Jalen Wright, but rotational guy at best. Everybody else is just a depth piece, right? So, again, here's the thing, though, right? Once you add a starter or 2 onto this defensive line at edge, all of a sudden, the edge position is actually a really good, solid group. Again, Arden Key, good rotational guy. Draymond Jones, good rotational guy. Lorenzo Carter, awesome rotational guy. Or, sorry, not awesome, but decent rotational guy. Those first 2 are really good, at least being rotational. Again, I keep saying that. Okay. Same thing with Jalen Harrell. I think he has the potential to be that. There are a lot of players on this roster that are good as rotational guys, but they can't play as starters, okay? They need to be. I'm not going to say it again because I just keep repeating it over and over and over again, but you get the point, right? Again, that is probably the biggest thing for me is that it's so close to being a really solid group of guys. It's just that it needs 1 or 2 more starters. That's how I feel about it, and that's how I will continue to feel about it. But obviously, did you think it was going to be topped? All right, at the top of the list, very obviously, is kicker, baby. We need somebody else, okay? Ryan Fitzgerald, you're going to get drafted with the first pick. No, of course not. Number one is quarterback, okay? Most important position in all football. It may not be, okay, wait, hold on. It actually probably is as weak as edge, and it has a similar thing where it's like, it's a starter away from actually being a decent position group, but like, the only reason that's ranked above edge is because it's the most important position. Okay, like edge, we need two of them, but quarterback, okay, if you have two really good defensive linemen, it's not going to make up for bad quarterback play. Let's take a look at the current. Players on this depth chart. Okay, so we have Will Levis, Kyle Allen, and Tim Boyle. Those dudes have won a combined 7 games in their entire careers. Think about that. 7 games. Yeah. 7 games. Okay, I just had to make sure because like I was thinking maybe Levis won a little bit more than that, but no, 7. That is absolutely horrific. Absolutely terrible. Horrible. Awful. But here's the thing, right? We need a winner at that position. We need somebody that will come in and change the culture, right? Here's my thing, okay? I think that you trade Levis. Again, I've been holding by the fact that like you throw him in with a 4th, I think you could potentially get like a mid to late 3rd round pick. I'm not saying that that's 100% going to happen, but I could definitely see something like that happening. What else is there? Oh, yeah, right. Again, this is a pretty veteran-filled thing. Like, look, Tim Boyle, I don't know why he's still in the league. He must have the greatest arm that you will ever see in training camp. Because, like, dude keeps on getting offers to play for other teams. Like, it makes no sense. He wasn't even good in college. Like, he threw, 2 touchdowns to 14 picks in college. Don't know if that's the exact stat. But somebody that throws that touchdown-to-interception ratio is not meant to be in the NFL. But here we are. He's in the league. Don't know how. Don't know how he keeps getting jobs. But he's still a 3rd stringer, and he still has experience. Don't think he'll go in and win a game for you, but he's nice to have at least a quarterback as an emergency QB. Kyle Allen, okay, that dude's gotten around as a backup QB. I think that he is like a decent enough backup. Like, do I think it could be better? 100%. I think that there were definitely better backup QB options that you could have gotten. Me personally, I would have gone for Jameis, let him like either start for a year or at least sit behind Cam Ward, mentor him a little bit. Yeah, no. Okay. But obviously, the ultimate goal here is that you need to draft Cam Ward. Get that done and just don't even think about it twice, okay? Let him define what your franchise is going to be. It either crashes and burns in Cali and Borgo. Actually, I don't think Borgonzi will get fired, but either it crashes and burns and Cali gets fired, or he ends up being a franchise guy. We go like 6-11, 7-10. Potentially have Jaden Daniels. Okay, obviously that's an over-exaggeration, but potentially, maybe he has a big rookie breakout and leads us to bigger things than we're expecting. But like, as long as we get like 6 or 7 wins, it'll be good enough to keep Cali's job. Cam Ward will have probably played pretty solid, at least for a rookie quarterback if we're winning that many games. So again, got to draft Cam, trade Levis for draft capital, and then keep the rest of the quarterback room the same. And I think that you have a pretty decent quarterback room. But anyway, man, that's a lot of talking. That's going to do it for today's episode. I have Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok all under the Titans Rundown if you want to go check those out. I'm still active on Instagram and Twitter for the Titans Rundown, or for the Vols Rundown. So if you want to go check those out, that's cool too. I'm hearing rumors about Avery Johnson, but that's neither here nor there. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see what happens today, actually. The portal is opening up today, at least as this video is going out. So, again, if something big happened, let me know in the comments section. But anyway, that's going to do it all for me. This has been a rundown of your Tennessee Titans. I love y'all, and tighten up.